Hello Barmy Badger Army, welcome to today's show. Today we're going to be on and off the bench. Nick has filmed some material with me earlier, but I thought it'd be fun to add a bit more to the show as we were in a bit of a rush and I wanted to make sure you guys got the content you deserve. So we are going to do an extra bit of the on the bench and off the bench too. So today we're going to talk about our paranormal experiences, and I'm going to talk to you about a time when I stayed in a haunted house for a week, and we're going to review sweet as candy donuts from Morrison's. Yum yum. So let's get cracking. Right, hope everyone is well. Right, now this one is a bit worse for wear, but there you go, it's a bit of an example of what they could look like, but this one obviously is a bit worse for wear, but they are going to look totally delicious. So there is a frosting on the top, and there is jelly beans and all sorts of other sweets on the top. So a bit of a sniff, and wow, that smells absolutely delicious. And of course, as you know, I am a big fan of Morrison's donuts. They are totally yummy, and I am so excited. Now, these are a bit more expensive than the usual ones. These were £2 a head instead of the usual 50 pence, which was a bit disappointing, but these are the more luxurious range. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to beat the fizzy lemonade one, or the pink lemonade one, or the custard, or any of those other delicious flavours that Morrison's do, because these ones are awesome. But let's see if this beats them. I don't know if it will, but let's see. Wow. Now that is delicious, but very chewy, because obviously you're biting through a jelly bean on the top. So please be wary about these sorts of things. Don't put it in the fridge, it'll be rock hard. Delicious. Now, now, let's talk about the smell. First off, as Dat Badger would. It really puts you in that mood of sweet shops and wow, these are donuts here. As soon as you get it out of the packaging, you're like, boom! It hits you. And then you take a nice big bite and you get that lovely, sort of almost American style frosting. It was a sort of a mixture between British frosting and American frosting there, but it more varied on the American style, which is my favourite. Comes from other places other than Morrison's and Costco. Now that is delicious. You know, when you bite into it, you get that frosting, and then of course you get the jelly bean, hyperactive flavours, and E-numbers and all that delicious stuff. And that was mad. So yes, that is absolutely delicious. The only downside is that there's no middle filling. All the filling was on the top. Now, if it was me and you were doing something over the top, like a sweet as candy donut, I would say that you need something in the middle as well. If it's going to be over the top and sweet as anything, I think you need something overpowering in the middle as well. But other than that, it's fantastic. Is it as good as the 50p range? A tiny bit better. I don't know if I would justify paying £2, maybe 50p extra. But like I said, the fact that there's no middle filling does negate it a lot. So I would say that the 50 pence ones are just as good as that, but if those ones are on special, pick them up. But yeah, the 50p brands that they do are fantastic as well. Right, now we're going to talk about a little bit of a time. Now, about 10 maybe 15 years ago, I was asked to house sit for someone ages and ages ago. And this was near where I live as well. So, I was quite nervous about it. I'd never really house sit for anyone else other than my family before. And I was quite spooked out. Now, let me set you the scene. Now, the dad was dead, and the ashes were on the fireplace. The dog's ashes were there, and also, the son's ashes were there as well. And the person showed me around as well. And now I tell you, it was so bizarre. It was really spooky because every time I looked at one of the photos of the son, it felt like they were looking straight at me. And it felt like the eyes were moving around in the room. So if I looked, it felt like the eyes were moving around. And it was very unsettling. Even when I first got there, it felt cold and rather spooky. So there you go, that's the first things that happened. That's before I even stayed round there. Fast forward a couple of nights, it was bizarre because I started having these weird dreams about lights being turned on and off. And I started having visions of people at the top of the stairs and all sorts of stuff. Things kept breaking out of my control, like the lamp smashed when I didn't even see it smashed. I was downstairs. It must have, I don't know, maybe there was a gust of wind or something weird happened and it smashed on the floor. So I had to rush and try and get somebody to fix it. I tried to put the washing out once and the line snapped, and all sorts of weird and wonderful things kept happening. And also, something very strange happened once as well, where it was the time when you could play CDs and things like that. So I put a CD on and it started to play backwards. And then that was really bizarre. But yeah, it just kept sort of weird and wonderful things kept happening where, like the photos felt they were following me around the room. There was some weird shadows at the top of the stairs and sometimes lights and things like that flickered. And it was a really spooky experience. And my goodness me, I'm actually really pleased. I got out of there after a week and the person come back because, wow, it was such a weird experience and very unsettling at the time. And for a young badger who had anxiety issues, you can imagine how bizarre it was. It was very strange, it really was. So it was such a peculiar time. Do I regret it? No, I certainly don't regret doing it because everyone in theory should have a sort of a weird experience like that to tell tales of. But my goodness me, I don't regret it, but I wish I'd said no at the time as well, because my goodness me, it was such a spooky experience. And I haven't seen the person in question that I house sat for years. I don't know why, I just sort of lost touch with them. But yeah, it was so bizarre. So if you're watching this, get in contact with me and we'll have a chat, because I had some really bizarre, spooky situations while I was staying there. It was very interesting, but very weird at the same time. So I've never experienced anything like that since. I had another paranormal experience before that, but I'll go into that another time. Right, Nick is going to join us, and me and him are going to talk about a wide variety of issues and topics. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this part of Off the Bench. And now we're going to go on the bench with me and Nick. Thanks for watching. Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome to On the Bench. And I have the lovely Nick Field with me today as my co-host, guest host. Welcome, old chap.
Well, hello there.
Indeed, and today we're going to talk about a variety of different things. We're going to talk about pride, we're going to talk about football, we're going to talk about loads of different things. And
Don't let all that put you off, though.
Of course, no. Indeed. And first off, we're going to talk about how we guessed it would happen, and it did. Pride has now sort of unfortunately turned into a money-making scheme by these businesses.
I saw a feature on Jimmy Kimmel's show about Pride sofas.
Really?
They don't look good.
No. And the thing is...
Pride merch, Pride outfits and stuff, which are like completely rainbow coloured. And, you know, that's it's done by someone who has no idea how LGBTQIAP plus people dress.
Yes. Who would dress in a rainbow outfit constantly? Would you, Nick?
No.
No. Would you have it
For a
as
fancy dress party, I'm kind of tempted, but I think it's just kind of going to end up with a lot of... But yeah, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb in a really bad way.
Yeah. But a nice little pin or a nice little thing on a jacket, maybe that's for some. I mean, maybe people wear the flag with pride, and good for you.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to bring in 90s tat. But that is the thing. Now, we talked about this the other time, didn't we? And loads of businesses and lots of LGBTQA plus
QIA plus
people I know have even mentioned it, how, right, the businesses are now straight again, because as soon as Pride finished, they got rid of all the flags, got rid of all the stuff, back to normal. And you know what I mean? What is normal, but we can go through that another day. But what I'm basically saying is, yes, Pride is a big thing, but a lot of these businesses, it felt that they were jumping on the bandwagon, because as soon as Pride finished, they just got rid of it all again. And the thing is, if you're legitimate and you want to support a cause, it's not going to be just for a month, is it, Nick?
Exactly. I mean, Pride events go on throughout the year. I think that we have a Pride event here in Romford.
That's right.
It usually takes place around the end of July. I don't know whether or not it's happening this year because
COVID.
But yeah, you know, it does. But yeah, I know that it's specifically allocated the month of June, but you know, it's like the merch that kind of hasn't really worked out. You know, I think a lot of people of all orientations have just been like, not really, and yeah, it just feels too much like you know, a cash in.
Yeah, which I think is bad, and we were worried about that it would happen, weren't we? We did reference that the other week. And I, for one, think that unfortunately, and this is where it's going to happen, is will you end up with a load of LGBTQIA plus stuff in your local pound shops as useless tat? And I think it might happen. And this is depressing.
As a lot of fashions have gone.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it's not Christmas. It's not Halloween, guys. This isn't something that should be cashed in. It's something that's serious, that should be represented, and also should be showing and giving out knowledge. And similar to Black Lives Matter and all these different events, you know, it's for a serious cause. It shouldn't be turned into a useless tack Christmas event.
Exactly. You know, it's... You know, and, you know, it might even lead to people thinking, you know, oh, that community have more rights than we do. No, we don't.
No, you know, and you certainly don't get a second Christmas, Nick.
Exactly. You know, there's a whole lot of issues, you know, around the world for people of the LGBTQIA plus community. Yeah, and it's and that is essentially what it is there to highlight, you know, and you know, shout out to the organizations who are still trying to promote that, and you know, and will continue to do throughout the year. And you know, let's for next year, we need it to be more about causes to be supported rather than merch.
That's right, and we're going to move on quick, otherwise we're going to run out of time.
Yes.
But we were talking about Euro
2020, which, as I mentioned in my video, is both managing to be so last year and so current at the same time.
Yes. Big thank you for drop the mic, by the way.
You're welcome.
And we're going to talk about what are your feelings on the light shenanigans that happened the other day.
I feel the supporters who did that need to be found, and they need to be barred from future matches. You know, because the thing is, that kind of behaviour, and it wasn't just that, it was, you know, it's booing during other countries' national anthems. It's setting off fireworks outside the arena. You know, this, you know, I mean, we both grew up in the era of hooliganism.
That's right, I remember all the football
hooliganisms. Which was the most, you know, which did terrible damage to the UK.
That's right,
You know, it was so, and you know, I do not want something like that to be happening again. And I don't want the England football team, and whatever the result on Sunday, they have done phenomenally well to get where they are.
I've put a bet in for Italy to win.
well, that's a stain on your conscience. But the thing is, ultimately, whatever happens, they've done phenomenally well to get there. You know, it's like it's not a matter of like choking at the last minute. You know, at the end of it, they worked hard to get where to get where they were, and they have done better than any other England football squad of this generation, and that is still something that we should be proud of.
So do you think the team should be penalised by the light or the actual person?
No, because they had nothing to do with it. If they'd liaised with a fan to do that, then yes. But I very much doubt that they did. You know, I think if they want to like ban supporters from attending the final, then totally understand. But it's just
there's going to be CCTV footage, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you think it's not the actual team's fault? It's blaming on the England supporters. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's the supporters, and also they're the ones who boo when players take the knee.
That's true.
And boo during the anthems. That's not the team. The team wouldn't dream of doing something like that. That would be terrible for their image.
That's true.
So I think that's what needs to be looked into.
Right, what else do you want to talk about, Nick?
Well, we've been talking. I mean, I will hopefully at some point be doing a video about Love Island in general.
That's right.
I mean, I haven't been following Love Island. I don't really understand what's going on.
I've been looking at bits and pieces, but not much. Oh,
this drink just spilled over. I kind of see it as a racier version of Big Brother. But
this is very true.
Thing to remember, reality TV is a contradiction in terms. I remember my media studies teacher saying to me, "You can't film reality." That's
because it does even say on the things, doesn't it? It says some events may be scripted and changed and things like that. So some of the events may happen, but they change it to benefit their own will.
Exactly. That is not reality. And we need to stop acting like these shows are reality. Because
it does change the way people think about the real world, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Only way is Essex. Everyone thinks, on some of my videos and some of my streams, everyone goes, "Oh, you're from Essex. Why aren't you tanned?" and all this sort of stuff. So there's a really weird imagery of Essex and stuff like that now because of that show.
Find out where they're from and ask them about their national stereotypes.
Well, they think we're all millionaires and we're all tanned. That is completely, cobblers.
Exactly. Ultimately, I mean, this image here is not reality. It's like one small part of.
That's right.
It's like it's not. We haven't even got our whole bodies in shot.
No, unfortunately. Usually we would, but still.
Yeah,
not today.
I mean, good because neither of us had trousers on.
This is true.
And that's we need to start. And everything that you see on screen is a representation of reality or a representation, depending on how you want to pronounce it.
This is true, yeah.
And that is what people need to realise. Cameras can't capture everything, even though Love Island apparently has 100 camera angle changes in a minute. And yeah, that's what people need to realize. You need to put a line between the real world, whatever that might consist of, and shows like Love Island, which are definitely not the real world.
Indeed. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. I will be seeing Nick again very soon, and we'll be doing more on the bench stuff. Thank you very much for watching, guys. You've been awesome, and look after yourselves, and we love you all to bits, don't we, dear?
We do.
Indeed. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.